The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Hi, how's everybody else doing today? This is Talk Wrestling on the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, NoDQ.com, and my own social media outlets. Thank you all, as well as NoDQ's Twitter. So thank you all for watching tonight. Indeed, Zach, my liver will pay the price tonight, but that's okay. If you are a fan of mine, you know that as this show is going live across the multiverse, Stanley Cup action is also live over on TNT. And Vegas is one period away from winning the Stanley Cup, and they have a commanding lead as we go into period number 3. So it's going to be one of those shows, ladies and gentlemen, but that's okay. Let me see what we got here in the chat. Shout out to the early birds, as Aaron always does on his shows. Matthew, good to see you, Matt. City by the Bay as well, the great one. They're actually showing Wayne Gretzky on my screen right now, so thank you for that. And yes, as I said, prayers for my liver tonight. Grant and Steph, hello, good to see you. JJ, hey there, hi there, ho there. CJ, hello. And Hockey Game can go screw itself, Jay. Hello, Grant in Michigan, and hello to Psycho Jet Black. All right. Did that pretty good. So, as Cody Rhodes often will say, what do you guys want to talk about? I'll talk about professional wrestling, damn it, because that's what I'm here to do, right? That's why we exist on this plane, on this channel, on this, what do you call it, on this YouTube channel. Because, talk about wrestling. Let's see what we got here. What's over here now? Let's see. I thought your team was the Kings. It is the Kings, and I am watching because the Kings aren't out. The Kings are out, excuse me, but I still enjoy watching hockey. Give me 1 second. I got to fix the seat here, and it's just a mess. So I don't need anybody to be seeing what's, behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz style. Bear with me. I'm working on it. I'm getting there. Wow, this is really screwed up. I really messed this up. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. Stand by in the control room. All right. And no, for the record, I have not had a sip of alcohol yet during this game for anybody that's going to ask or is already asking. All right. Anyway, let's see here. So yeah, my team is the Kings. It's just the Kings got eliminated by Edmonton. So I mistakenly rooted for Vegas to beat Edmonton because I despise Edmonton. And now Vegas is going to win the Stanley Cup. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Go Braves? Sure. Why not? Zelina Vega, please. I'm okay with Zelina Vega. Absolutely. I'm okay with that. She'll be on SmackDown this week. I don't talk about the Cowboys during this show usually because I talk about the Cowboys during the Sports Bar, which is on at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on Cassian Studios. So I usually don't talk about football by the time I get here. Been a funny night reading an article on No DQ, diverge into insanity and massive tribalism. Sounds about right, Matt. Sounds about right. I was at Raw last night. Wichita brought the noise and sang along with Rollins' theme, and it was insanely loud and wild. Crowd was hot all night. Good to hear, brother. Grant says Seth versus Braun Breaker for... Okay. For the folks that are new or haven't been here in a while, NXT goes live to the West Coast in 53 minutes. No spoilers unless I'm putting it out there well ahead of time. And for the record, I am putting it out there ahead of time. There will be a smidgen of NXT spoilers prior to the 8 o'clock start time here on the West Coast because I'm going to talk about what's going on in NXT next week. So, JJ, if you saw that chat before I could read it, I apologize. But anyway, if I could pick, I'll go ahead and sign that, star that for later and talk about it. I actually have seen it, Matt, and I will talk about it. Who is my ideal Money in the Bank winner? That's another one we'll get to later. Dead Man Walking. Yeah, it's pretty much what it's going to be. Well, thank you for the super sticker, Daniel. I appreciate the $1 going toward my alcohol abuse program. Much appreciated because it's about to get real. Because where's that stupid stirring straw? It's over here somewhere. I just had some of the bitch. I know I had it. Where did it go? I don't remember where I put it. That's all right. We'll use this. That'll do in a pinch. Yes, I understand it's for Vegas. Thank you. I appreciate that very much, Daniel. Let's see. I actually, Josh, am about to take sip number 1 of what I found out is called a whiskey highball when I don't include the scotch the drink I discovered in Chicago, the vaccine. Without the Dewar scotch, it's simply called a whiskey highball. That's why it's in a smaller cup. All right, let's see what we got here. See, as you know, I've been trying to get excited about wrestling. I did enjoy the last pay-per-view, which was Night of Champions for the most part. I'm also sick of Roman Reigns. Everybody either is or they're showing the cup being wheeled into the building. Oh, I'm gonna die here. Psycho, top 5 Mickey Mouse cartoons. Not in any particular order because they're all great to me. Steamboat Willie because it was his first. Band Concert, it was one of the first ones in color. Sorcerer's Apprentice, which was part of Fantasia. We'll go with Carnival Kid, because it's the first time you actually heard him speak actual words more than just gibberish. And God, the fifth one's, see, it's always that fifth one when you do a top five off the top of your head, right? Isn't that a bitch? We will go with, it's not really a Mickey cartoon, but I love it, Pluto's Doghouse. Because it was the debut of Chip and Dale, and it was a cool cartoon. Low-key pumped for Money in the Bank. I am too. We're going to talk about WWE here momentarily. Matt Mohammed says, happy Tuesday and Tuesday night. Jeff Meacham, hope you're doing well, and same with everyone here in the live chat. Well, thank you. Three Musketeers. Okay, well, if we can include full-length features, then I'll go with Mickey's Christmas Carol instead of the one I said last. Let's see. All right. Anyway, let's see. So as far as WWE, okay. JJ. Ready, Jay? Ready, Jay? Here comes the NXT spoilers. All right. Coming out tonight's NXT broadcast on USA Network. This is what we're going to be seeing next week on Raw, the next 2 weeks on NXT, this Friday on SmackDown, and of course, what we have confirmed so far for Money in the Bank. Rollins will again defend the World Heavyweight Championship in an open challenge match, and Logan Paul will be in the building on Raw. God save us all if Logan Paul gets put into a program for the world title. And of course, we'll have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bronson Reed. As of NXT that ended just a few minutes ago for the East Coast folks, and we'll start momentarily in about 50 minutes for the West Coast. Braun Breaker will challenge Seth Rollins on NXT television for the Raw-based World Heavyweight Championship. Let's let that sink in for a second. The world champion, who is not a free agent, defending a title that is supposed to be based on Raw, and he's facing an NXT person on NXT. Okay. Wes Lee versus Tyler Bate with Mustafa Ali as referee. That'll be next week, I believe. And then in 2 weeks, Tiffany Stratton will defend against number one contender Thea Hale. So there you go. Here, Daniel, if you want the red alert. Computer, red alert. Computer, red alert.
Red alert. All hands at battle stations.
There you go. And just for Vegas, computer, fire torpedoes. Damn thing. Computer, fire torpedoes.
Photon torpedoes now armed. Firing.
Computer, fire phasers.
Okay. Firing phasers. Pew pew.
You bitch. I forgot the stupid Star Wars thing. Oh, well, that's okay. Anyway, I left off where I was here. All right. Collision is this Saturday. What do you think of CM Punk's return? Reaction is going to be, you think? We'll have to wait and see. We have a watch-along coming up on Saturday. After, here's the watch-along. There we go. Saturday night, June 17th, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, on the Jeff Meacham Multiverse of Media. We'll be watching Collision in its entirety. Then we will go to Match Game and Open Mic Night following that. There we go. So let's wait and see what happens on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it, personally. Let's see. AEW having to fire producers for Collision. Yeah, and again, BJ Whitmer getting fired, or the announcement of him getting fired, I think it was last night it went out, maybe this morning. I don't know. It didn't really matter, I guess. But it's a shame. You know, it's sad when people that have a legitimate talent for something, like BJ does for producing wrestling and helping, map out sequences and everything, just can't keep the personal stuff together. It is unfortunate. CJ, that's more of a sports bar question as far as Mount Rushmore of Dodgers, and I'm not a Dodgers person. I'm more an Angels person, but even then, I'm not. Okay, see, the thing is, hockey, I can give you my Kings Mount Rushmore, not right now because I'm focused on what's going on. But, yeah, anyway. Seriously, is WWE really interested in rehabbing Mustafa Ali? I keep saying Muhammad Ali for some reason. Mustafa Ali and Baron Corbin by sending them down NXT, or are they there to put the young stars over? Both. I think it's both. Psycho, I really do. I think it's both. I think it's the fact that both Corbin and Ali need a fresh, coat of paint on their presentation, but also, there are a lot of young guys down there that would benefit from guys who have been called up and then go back down and have to kind of regain their luster. You're welcome, Daniel. Thank you. Love RVD. Yeah, it's the interview we did with him back in 2008 on NoDQ.com. There you go. All right. Anyway, looks like the chat room pretty much answered that I saw. It wouldn't surprise me if NXT requested Ali to come down. Ali, they completely botched his going off TV, presenting him as the man behind Retribution, and the whole way. It was just bad. It was just ill-fated from Jump Street. It was so horrible. Ken, by the way, good to see you. Dave is a Beasley. Says, when do you think Braun Breaker will start wrestling on the main roster? I think the thing they're doing with Seth here this week is the start of that process of him going up. That's just for me. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate that. The original person that ran over Stone Cold for the choice for you know what? I honestly don't think they had a grand plan in mind when they pulled that proverbial trigger, Psycho, to be honest with you. I think it was a means to an end, and to give them a ready-made story when Austin's neck and body were ready to go in the fall of 2000, or late summer, whatever you want to call it. September, so that's fall, autumn, whatever. I think it was just a means to get him off the air, and get him off TV, get him into surgery, and get him away from WWF television. Once they figured out, okay, he's back, we're going to resolve it. Somehow we have to figure out how this worked itself out. And if you remember, they did have Rikishi be the initial point man, the one that actually, did the driving, but almost immediately they went back into full-blown Triple H as a heel, without a doubt, and he was the mastermind behind it because the story wove itself. He became the WWF in Stone Cold's absence. He was the champion. He was feuding with the champion. If he wasn't the champion, he married Stephanie McMahon not too long after the Survivor Series that in 1999. And he and Stephanie, and then he and the McMahons ran the WWF while Steve was gone. So I think there was no set, okay, how do we get out of this if we do it right now? It was, let's do it now, and then explain it later. Good question. I only really appreciate it also because I'm going back and watching classic content on YouTube, and I just got out of that whole storyline. So very cool. Again, Mohammed, Collision is to be expect anything. CM Punk's back on television. He's in the main event match. I'll tell you what you can expect on Saturday after Collision, though. Like I said, match game on the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media. Gonna definitely be a fun time at the old town, if you will. Hot time in the old town tonight, or hot time in the cold town tonight, as they said in Batman Returns. It's going to be a great night. We're going to start at 8 o'clock Eastern and roll right through the night up until 3 a.m., hopefully 3 a.m. Eastern, not too much later than that, because Sunday's Father's Day, and I want to be able to have time with my family. Let's see. question from Just Sports. Thank you, Just Sports. WWE has recently increased the amount of factions and tag teams, and if Hit Row is back, every brand will have above 6 tag teams. Can WWE bring new faction titles or split the tag titles? Well, if you notice, they've been actively unifying or rebranding their championships. You notice both Roman Reigns and Asuka have WWE Undisputed / Universal branding on their titles on SmackDown. And as of last night, Rhea Ripley joined Seth Rollins as being the world champion over on the Raw brand. You can definitely expect the men's tag titles to have 2 belts as opposed to 4 going in pretty soon. And then as we saw on SmackDown last week, we're going to have, I think in a couple of weeks, not this Friday, but next Friday, the 23rd, we will have a unification women's tag title match between Isla and Alba and Ronda and Shayna. So they're gonna be consolidating the titles, and I think with all these teams, they're gonna have what they envisioned, which was undisputed tag team, world, and women's champions to go back and forth, undisputed tag champions to go back and forth, and then stationary world men's and women's champions for each brand. That's what I meant to say. I'll get there. Correct me if I'm wrong, the first time NXT, Brandon has challenged for a world championship while still in NXT. Good question. I don't know. I think that's the case, though. Although, an NXT branded star, I believe, is the correct answer. Yes, because if you remember when they established the championship, they had people from the main roster come down, and then NXT stars both sides in the tournament. Same with the women's championship situation. So, yeah. Greatest TNA / Impact promo. It's got to be Steiner Math, right? It has to be. Are they really going to drag the Bloodline story till Mania? I don't know how else they could make it more interesting after this tag match. Have faith, Dave. We're going to see this Jey Uso thing play out. I don't think it's going to Mania. I know Virtue believes that. I know a lot of people believe that, but I am still in the camp of the threads will start coming out of that sweater in a hurry after Money in the Bank, and then SummerSlam will get a major shift in the story as well. Better cameo, King Kong Bundy on Married with Children or Vader on Boy Meets World? For me, it's Vader, because he did it more than once. He was a regular, recurring guest star. He appeared as Vader, but his character on the show was the father of one of Corey's classmates at John Adams High. So we saw Leon quite a bit on Boy Meets World. Cameo would be saying Mankind, Mick Foley on Boy Meets World, or King Kong Bundy, in which case my favorite is King Kong Bundy. And Bundy appeared twice. He appeared as a member of the family, one of Peggy's cousins, and then he appeared as King Kong Bundy proper, but they weren't the same character, if you remember. So that's why Bundy's my favorite there. Let's see. What do I think Pillman's ceiling would have been if he didn't pass? God. Well, there's a asterisk there, Zach. If Brian doesn't have that car accident, no ceiling. 0 ceiling. If there's no life-changing car accident, right? Not a 1. But because he completely shattered his ankle and ended his ability to high fly, and then became dependent on the medication and everything, it was literally a downward spiral. The loose cannon just got worse and worse. And unfortunately, we lost him in October of 97. Bushwhackers on Family Matters underrated appearance since they were treated as heels. Yes, that's true. We got heel Bushwhackers on Family Matters, if you recall. They faced Steve Urkel and Carl Winslow in a tag match. So there you go. The belt that Rhea has now should have been black leather with silver and purple plating. No, they need to keep the branding uniform. This isn't the Attitude Era with custom titles for Stone Cold and The Undertaker. He didn't really have a custom one, but this isn't the era of custom belts anymore, unfortunately. I like some of the custom belts, some of them I really don't. The Warriors multiple colored leather straps, stupid. Smoking Skull, I liked, but yeah, better keep a uniform. What's with Seth wrestling in NXT with his title? He's supposed to be a Raw title. Thank you, Edgar. Much appreciated. You made my point. Didn't WWE keep calling their main title the Undisputed title back when they reintroduced the World Heavyweight title in 2002 for several months? No. Once Brock Lesnar was announced as having signed with SmackDown exclusively and Triple H was awarded the World Championship, the name switched to WWE Championship again. It remained that way until roughly I think it was when Orton and Cena unified the titles and it became the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Josh with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Josh. In penance for my future sins on Sports Bar, my sins on Sports Bar today and future sins with an upcoming column. Again, Josh, your column, what you say is your opinion. I don't have a problem with your opinion because it is yours and you are entitled to it. I just don't agree with your opinion sometimes. Sometimes I do. The column you're writing about Hogan, based on what he said today or what came out today, probably not going to argue with that, to be honest with you. Anyway, the question is, who should beat the Wild Sammy Owens for the SmackDown Tag title? Screw the Dodgers. Man, that was a hell of a super chat to get to screw the Dodgers. And I'm a Dodgers. I do like the Dodgers. They're an LA team. My brother, my mother, my aunt, they all are major Dodger fans. I'm just an Angels person. And they're in different leagues, so it really doesn't matter until end of the season. It comes down to it, despite belief by some fans to the contrary, which I don't understand. Who should beat the Wild Sammy Owens for the tag titles? As it stands right now, we're going to have that gauntlet match. Let me see if I can bring that graphic back up. Where did it go? There it is. Thank you. Well, I can't see the damn match because I blocked it. Let's see. Of everybody in this gauntlet match, Josh, I'm going to go... Fuck. Sorry, language. Sorry, Aaron. I'm going to go with, in that group, I would say Pretty Deadly should at least be the next challengers. But I don't think they should beat the Wild Sammy Owens. Anyway. Where did I go here? There it is. Okay, that's you chatting amongst yourselves. Would Bret Hart come back to WWE if he never got the cuss from Goldberg? Not at that point. Not at that point. He was still way too embittered at Vince and the company. Yeah, remember, he got the concussion from Goldberg, the injury from Goldberg, the same year Owen died. It was only a few months after Owen's death, so I definitely don't think he would have gone back at that point. Absolutely not. You remember, they stated, I don't know if it was on a documentary, the Bret documentary that WWE did, or Wrestling with Shadows, but Owen and Bret had talked about when Bret left. They each had a 3-year deal left. So end of 2000 was going to be the end. God damn it, why is my graphic still up? I'm trying to talk to you people seriously, and it botched it. There we go. Yeah, remember, when Bret left and went to WCW after Montreal in 97, they both had 3 years left on their deals, right? So the end of 2000 was going to be a time where they could both step away. And Bret even mentioned this to Owen in one of the documentaries. He talked about it, kicking back on their deck out in their backyard on their porch or whatever and just laughing about all this shit and being out of the business and being happy. And it didn't happen, unfortunately, for either one of them. So, no, I don't think Bret would have gone back to WWE ever again. And I'm surprised that he did, to be honest with you. What do I like more now, the SmackDown titles or the Raw titles? I'm going to go with the Raw titles, and I only say that for a couple of reasons. I personally like the homage to the Big Gold World Heavyweight Championship. And also, I mentioned this during South by Sports Bar as I'm watching Vegas and their mustard jerseys that look like mustard from far camera shots away. The WWE championships on SmackDown, the women's and the undisputed quote-unquote title, they look like they're painted with mustard rather than gold plates. They look hideous on TV. They look better in person and in professional pictures, but they're ugly at glancing. Let's see. Let's see. I think WWE is running the World Heavyweight title if they'd said it'd be Raw's title, defended on Raw or PLEs. Otherwise, you create 0-5. Again, Vegas scored again. God damn it. Pick up the No DQ review. Thoughts on Punk and AJ Lee versus Britt and Cole. AJ, if I remember what I read in her book, and I could be wrong on that because it's been a while since I read it, AJ is retired. She's got too much head trauma, both physically and mentally, that she doesn't want to be in the ring anymore. So I have no thoughts because it's not going to happen. $2 super chat again from Josh. Hard to hate Bill after the yeah. And again, I've been very hard on Bill Goldberg over the years for something that really wasn't my interaction at the end of the day. I was, lumping myself in with a buddy that really wasn't a buddy, right? So, yeah, I apologize to Bill, and I mean that. I sincerely mean my apology on attacking Bill personally with venom on this platform. Professionally, not a fan. Just not a fan. And I won't be. It has nothing to do with oh, there you go, Florida scored. There we go. The comeback begins. Bill just was not ready to be. Goldberg was not ready to be in that spot. He just wasn't. And the fact was, Bischoff's admitted this. He had limited shelf life. He'd come out, he'd breathe fire, he'd snort, he'd breathe smoke, he'd breathe fire, whatever you want to call it. He'd kick a couple pyro hits, go in the ring, move, spear, jackhammer out. That's not a world champion. Even in 1998, you needed to carry a long-term program and a decent match. Bill couldn't do that. So, anyway. Yeah. And again, this goes back to, Kurt. Kurt Hennig, we were talking about Brett and Owen earlier. Kurt ended up having, passing from acute intoxication. I believe it was cocaine. I could be wrong on that. Forgive me if I am. The demons of the wrestling business. Just, a lot of people have this problem. So, I clearly do tonight. Where'd it go? What about Brett going to TNA/Impact? Would he have helped that company instead of Hope? No. Again, guys, a lot of, hindsight booking, hindsight decision making. Brett was not happy in wrestling when he left for WCW. He was not wanting to be involved. My observation as a fan, he lost his zest for being involved. So let's see. I think AJ is still involved with WoW. I don't know because I haven't seen the product. My thoughts on the A's moving to Vegas. Again, I can't go near Vegas because the A's are in the Angels division, and I ain't about to deal with those fans. The Raider Nation's there. With all due respect, Joey, you're not one of the crazy Raider fans. I know you are a fan, but just the Raider Nation is very, very intense for me. Never been a likely candidate to be around them because they are so intense. And I don't discredit or discourage the intense, extreme fandom of any team. It's not my thing. And then if Vegas in 9 minutes here, Vegas is going to have the Stanley Cup, and God help me. So, yeah, my thoughts are, Jesus Christ. Vegas had no pro teams. Now they're going to have a championship in a major sport. They've got the Raiders, and then they're going to have the Oakland A's come over there. So there you go. Psycho says, unlikely to happen. Imagine Seth versus Bray in 2023, but they had the match that they should have had a Hell in a Cell without the BS smoke and mirrors. It's not going to happen, but I'd love to see it rewound and try it again. JBL's title run. Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays, right? Again. Oh, they're polishing the cup. No, Phil, don't bring it out there. Don't do it. You cry. Oh, you're a Rams fan. Okay, I could have sworn you were a Raiders guy based on the color scheme. I apologize, brother. Well, yeah. Well, in that case, yeah, I don't want to deal with Raider Nation. I just don't want to do it. Anyway. Not a professional team, though. They're not a professional. They're not part of the NBA. So that's what, as far as NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL. They don't have an NBA team yet. Maybe though. Anyway, JBL's title run again, means to an end. They didn't have a strong heel on SmackDown, and they elevated Bradshaw. And love him or hate him as a alleged bully or whatever, he did his job. He was a successful, long-term heel world champion of one of the major brands of WWE. And he carried it as a heel should. Now, you can go ahead and bring up Jinder Mahal's, title run. Again, I don't have a problem with elevating new people to the title. I just don't think Jinder Mahal was that guy. And no, I don't dislike Jinder Mahal's run near as much as Aaron appears to at all. Like, not even close. Having said that, again, I think Jinder Mahal, much like Heath Slater, great as a supporting character. Drew McIntyre should not have been in that group. Drew McIntyre has always had that extra factor, the X factor, if you will. Not the horrible faction that Sean Waltman was in. Holy jeez. He's had that special it about him, right? And Drew should have been a world champion in WWE a lot sooner than he was. I've always found it funny that Florida has two of the best, teams in the league. And Panthers are here in the Stanley Cup. Yes, they're getting their ass spanked, but they're still in the Cup final. And then Tampa Bay's been a dominant team the last few years, and it's Florida. There's no ice, except there's no cold weather really. If Eddie didn't want to lose the belt, it's again 2020 hindsight. Don't know. At least we have preseason football in August, and again. There's football. Oh, fuck, they scored again. Oh, no, Florida scored again. Okay, good. Preseason football, yeah, but we have the XFL. Yes, it apparently lost $60 million this year, and now The Rock's career is over. Oh, dear Christ. We'll talk more about that open mic night this weekend. We have the USFL that's on right now. There's professional football more often than not now. So I always look forward to preseason because the Cowboys are, I always like watching, the Cowboys. Would WWE send the Jaguars a belt if they won the Super Bowl? That's been debated for a while. First thing has to happen is Jacksonville's got to have a better than a 500 season. They got to do better than they've been doing because they suck. If they have a better season, they make the playoffs and they go far, we'll have the discussion come, whatever it is, January, February. They got to get there first. Zach, as far as Amanda Nunes, again, I kind of touched on it briefly, or actually I did not. I wasn't in the sports part of the day. Much props, much respect to Amanda Nunes, the second person to beat Ronda Rousey, but she's the one who ultimately retired Ronda. Beat her in the championship match. And Ronda's attempted comeback. So, and Amanda Nunes retired as a double champion. You got to respect that. Just friggin' awesome. Great fighter. Amazing talent. UFC's probably going to miss her quite a bit. Who do I think Triple H's surprise is going to be? I don't even know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're referencing there. Okay. Let's see. Holly Holm's my favorite female fighter. I was happy she was over. I was surprised. I got into watching UFC more so for Ronda than I ever did for Brock or ever would have for Punk. So that came as a major surprise to me that she lost as badly as she did. Would I watch a Washington Commanders football game or a Rousey 1 hour promo? Oh, Lord, Psycho. God, just here, wait, let me get some courage and answer that properly. Commanders game. Honestly, because it's still football. Ronda, there's no escape. It's a Rousey promo. Again, mad respect for Ronda Rousey. Arguably the greatest female mixed martial artist of all time. But her WWE microphone skills are what they are. All right, I am at the 40-minute mark, which is where I usually part ways. it looks like it's going to happen for Vegas. God. So at the top of the next hour, unless the game's over sooner, we'll be live on the Custody Studios channel. Myself, Renegade, and Statboy. That is awful, as is that. You guys are just awful. Bad. Anyway. No, they should not replace Adam Pearce. I love Adam Pearce. Absolutely not. Again, top of the hour. Custody Studios with myself, with Mikey, Statboy, and with the Renegade. Real quick, if I could pick any booker for AEW, who would I choose? Me. Ideal Money in the Bank winners this year, L.A. Knight, yeah, and Zelina Vega. There you go. I think I got everybody's questions in now that we're starred or super chatted or whatever. So thank you all again. Appreciate it. Matt, good to see you. We're wrapping up right now, as a matter of fact. There's another goal for Vegas. This shit's over. Oh, no, it went off the post. Ha! Right on. Cool. 7-3 Vegas. Just over 6 minutes to go, guys. Tune in on the Sports Bar channel, the Custody Studios channel, myself, Statboy, and Renegade. Top of the hour, if not sooner. Another missed empty netter. They're trying. God love them. Anyway, have a good night, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate you putting up with my shit tonight. It's a long day. Rough day, professionally, and up here. It'll be better tomorrow on the Greg Cherry Show, which, by the way, will be the Greg Cherry list show as Matty Laws and I take over while Greg's on vacation. So tune in for me tomorrow night, as well as Aaron's recap of Dynamite. It is the last Dynamite episode before the collision in Chicago, and that is all that is not going on. That was last week's show. Just kidding. Damn graphics. Oh, okay, Vegas scored again. That's it. I'm getting off the air before it gets ugly. Night, guys. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Have a good night. We'll see you across the multiverse, and we'll see you guys next week right here on Talk Wrestling.